Hi, I'm Jo Beale and I'm an artist, illustrator and workshop leader, and this is part 2 of drawing from nature using one continuous line. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, do check it out and then enjoy both of them and let me know what you think. So it is springtime now, it's March, and oh, there are some beautiful shrubs and plants and flowers coming out. And in my little garden, which is tiny, I've got the forsythia coming and some crocuses, which I haven't got here, but I did just pick these tiny little daffs, or they might be little kind of narcissi or tete-a-tete, something like that. But I thought that the yellow would zing really nicely against the pinks and the greens that I've already got on this page. I've also picked a couple of these big ferns from last year's growth. You can see they're a bit kind of on the decaying side, but these might contrast in shape and colour, so I might do something with these as well. But for now, I think I'm going to concentrate on the forsythia and thinking about where I want to draw it. So I can do that by just laying it down first and thinking about the composition of what it looks like depending on where I put it. So I could turn it around like that, I could turn it upside down, but I think I'm going to draw it somewhere around here because I quite like the fact that this stem here is echoing the shape of that stem there. So that's going to be my aim. I'm going to carry on with the continuous line drawing and my Stabilo fine liner pens. So I'm just going to move that to one side. I'll make sure you can see what I'm doing and then start to draw. I'll start with the stem here so that I'll work my way up. Although I'm actually tempted to start with that flower. I'll start with the flower in the middle. Let's do that. Let's go for it. I've chosen this grey pen because the stem is fairly grey. The flowers are beautifully yellow, as you can see. I might have started with the yellow for these bits here, but I don't think you'd be able to see it well enough, so I thought I'd use the grey. Behind here, there's a few bits of stem before I can see the next one. Today is the spring equinox, so I hope you're having a good day and enjoying some sunshine if you've got it, which we do have here. Flowers in the background, petals in the background, just looking as closely as I can to draw those in. And then this is where the stem starts to come out. It's quite a bobbly stem. And it goes up there and joins that bit through there. I'm going to just make my way back up to that bit of stem. I'm going fairly rapidly. Just again following where my eyes look. I'm trying to just follow with my hand and with my pen. Now then, shall I go in front or behind of what's already there? I think I'll go behind, because it's already, the magnolia is already drawn in quite strongly. So I'm going to take my pen off just to nip over there. And I wasn't very successful in actually taking my pen off. You've got to trust the process, trust what you're seeing. Draw what you see. I might colour these in differently, just for a bit of contrast when it comes to adding colour. I'm not sure I'm going putting it down where I said I would try to put it down on the page, but never mind. I'm going to go behind the magnolia as well. Remember, if I want to get somewhere else, I just, in this instance, go around until I get there. And back again. All the way around again. I'm getting a bit confused behind here because there's petals behind petals. That's okay, just draw what I can see. A bit more stem here. Now what am I going to do here? I think I'm going to leave it as if it's gone behind. Taking my pen off just to have a think about this, I think. If I was to draw it just popping out there, I wonder what that would look like. I think I'm going to leave it like that for now. I'm thinking of putting a couple of these daffodils in, just because I've picked them and I want to use them. They're so pretty. They're so pretty, but I'm going to leave, I think I'm one here, maybe turn one round around here. We'll do that first and see. There might need to be another one down here. So I'll do this first, and I've switched to a sort of pinky beige colour to draw this one, and I want it just to sort of sit in there. So and I feel like I want to do another one in this gap kind of here, and again I've turned it around, turned the daffodil around, draw it from a different angle. Let's see how we go. I'll draw the trumpety bit first because I want to get most of it in, not make it too big. about maybe one more in here, in this gap, and maybe one more down here. So again, I'm turning the daffodil to draw it from a different angle again. So I want the trumpet to be about here. Try not to get too big. And I think I'm going to put one more down here, facing out, because the one on this side is facing out. And I'm hoping that's going to kind of lead the eye in from the right hand side. About there, I think. Again, a different angle, really side on this time. I think I'm going to leave the drawing element at that for now. And what I want to do is add some colour to these flowers that I've just put in the background. So I'm going to switch to using some of these soft pastels. They're by a company called Mungyo, and they are lovely. And the way I like to use them is that I don't tend to go straight in on the page with them like that. I've got this lovely kind of egg yolk yellow colour here, which I think works for the forsythia and the daffs. So what I'm going to do actually is put it on my finger and then just smudge some of that colour. And it doesn't matter if it goes, it doesn't matter if it goes on the outside of the lines, because I can work back into those lines with, probably with colour pencil actually, because this chalk pastel tends to not work. If you want to put felt tip pen on top now, it tends to not work very well. It can block the felt tip, the nib of the felt tip, so just be careful if you decide to do that. There, that's made a difference. Now my only thought is, should I do the same with the forsythia? And I've gone for it. So that's adding a bit of solidity behind the line drawing, which I quite like. It sort of makes the line drawing stand out a little bit, or at least it will by the time I've finished, I think. There we go. I think I want to keep these drawings fairly loose, but I've just picked up my colour pencils. These are Derwent Lightfast pencils, and I'm just filling in a little bit of orange on the trumpets of these daffodils. And again, that starts to make them look a bit more 3D straight away. But I don't particularly want, I'm not striving for these background images to be sort of, I want them to be recognised for what they are, but I don't want them to be hugely sort of realistic. I want to keep the drawing quite loose and stylised. So I might not be kind of as sort of careful and as accurate as I might be if I was wanting to do a drawing where I was kind of being super observant, but I still want to capture some of the characteristics. Let's make these stems of the forsythia a little bit more solid as well, in contrast to the stems of the flowers I drew in part 1. have gone over this outline of the magnolia with my dark grey again, thickened up the line in places, and I think that's made a subtle difference. A bit more contrast between the foreground and the background, I think. And I might do the same here as well. So I'll switch to a stronger pink. I like these strong leaf shapes. They contrast really nicely with the busyness of what's going on in the background. I know, a few more of these. Just looking at this page again, and I think I want to do add another part to it. And what I'm doing is just at the moment lightly filling in some of these negative spaces right in the background with what's called a dusky pink. So it's very pale. I just want to knock back some of that white. I don't know how far out I'll come. So, and also I might go over this layer with a bit of a texture, but I'll see. So I've moved away from continuous line drawing now, but I did use that technique to get all of the imagery down. And now I'm working on the page as a whole, thinking about the layout and different elements that I want to include. And really, I don't know that until I start doing it. I put one element in, do one part of the drawing changes, and then you can take your next step accordingly. So I think that's working. And I've also started to think about putting some lettering in, some writing, but I'm not sure. I might just put the date in. It does happen to be the spring equinox, so I might refer to that. And it's been a gorgeous day. And by doing this, actually, you can see that I'm also, where that yellow was smudged on earlier, I'm sort of neatening up the edges of that. So I have filled in those negative spaces with that dusky pink colour, and I've only coloured in those kind of enclosed spaces, and I've kind of kept it to the middle. So compositionally, I quite like that. A bit unexpected, I think. And I have penciled in Thursday, 20 March 2025, spring equinox. And because the NOx starts to go up this page, the side of this leaf here, if I had, you'll notice I've put some little dots in there. If I hadn't have done that, it would have looked a bit over like an abrupt stop. So I put those dots in just to take the eye up to the top of the leaf. And then what I've done is I've put some little dots around the whole of the outside edge on the top and a little bit along the bottom. So I'm just thinking about whether to make those, commit to those in pen. I don't want it to look contrived. So I'm not too sure about that yet. I think I'm going to keep it pale-ish to begin with and use this beigey pink pen. I can always make it darker if I want to. The reason that I've done it in pencil first, as well as wanting to make sure I was happy with where it was, where the lettering was or is, was also to space the letters out evenly. And yeah, space the letters out and sort of get equal-ish size gaps in between, and of course make sure I spell it all correctly. There we go. I think I might leave that there now. So we started off with continuous line drawing, and then to get the main sort of drawn elements down, and then had a little bit of a play, and I've turned it into a spring equinox page. Well, a spring page, and it happens to be the spring equinox, so let's mark it with this drawing.